that's operating broad scale is having an awful effect on the way people interact with each other. Because, as you've just said, if I'm only dealing with an avatar, that avatar is either going to give me what I want or they're not. And if they don't, they're a defective avatar. They're an iPhone that doesn't work properly or an app that needs updating. And I'm very cross and I'm very frustrated that it's not giving me what I want. It's sad, but that's what our brains have been entrained to think about life and relationships and people in a highly narcissistic way.
What do you think is a healthy way for people who are maybe looking to improve things in their life, or like what is a healthy way of dealing with that?
I think what would save us all a lot of trouble is if we took the advice, I think Freud took it from Dostoevsky and the brothers Karamazov, which is we should seek to be as rigorously honest with ourselves as we can. And you have that as the starting point. As soon as you start bullshitting yourself and bullshitting other people, you should stop. There's too many people involved in the NLP community think and talk about NLP like it's a trick for tricking people, getting girls into bed, getting people to buy used cars or buy things they don't need. Should never have been seen that way. So if we start with a good principle, which is be rigorously honest with yourself, which is extremely demanding. It's a very, very hard thing to follow up on.
And painful too.
Extremely painful. And that's where you see that principle overlaps with the Jungian idea, which is probably something else we should bring back, that we must integrate our shadow. We have to integrate the unconscious. We're not little angels and saints, virtuous beings toddling around on earth. We have darkness inside of us. And to say, well, that's not me, that's them, that's outside of me, is just an infantile defense mechanism. I mean, in terms of psychoanalytic theory, what you're doing, it's scapegoating in principle. There's no sin in me. I'm free of sin. All the sin is over there or over there or over there. That is easy to do, commonplace, but extremely dangerous, because if you start believing you're free from sin, you can attack people. If we trust each other and we're acting in good faith, you should be able to say, hang on a second, Francis, that's feedback. That's where psychoanalysis is powerful when it's at its best. Psychotherapy works great. If you have that faith and if you have that rapport and it's done in good faith, we can support each other to integrate our own shadows, I think, over time. Because we all have egos, we all have narcissism. Nobody's free from it. Any of us, we're human. Our egos are fallible. And we would fall prey to that. We would fall in love or in lust with our own self-image at that point, I think. That's what's happened. It's an accelerant. It's a catalyst, social media.
It's such a good point. It has fueled our sense of narcissism. You see it everywhere. People constantly taking selfies of themselves. When I was younger, that just wasn't a thing.
No.
That just wasn't a thing. Perpetually
When
taking...
I was a boy.
Yeah, when I was... It's wrong. No, but
It's not natural, Gary.
Yeah. But it's true. Constantly taking photos of yourself. That must breed an unhealthy obsession with your physical appearance.
In terms of the mechanism of the human mind, how fallible it is, my sense of self is coming from that. That's my mirror. But it's now not a mirror. That's me. This isn't me.
Right.
The real self is now here. We have to stop this. We have to set boundaries on that.
The thing that I find most depressing is, I remember once I sat down with my girlfriend to eat dinner and there was this beautiful young couple next to us in their mid-20s. They looked successful. And all they did was they were just opposite each other on their phone. And I'm thinking, you're in your mid-20s, you're in love, you're young. This is the peak.
Yeah.
This is it. And and that's all there is.
It's very rare. This, what we do for work, is probably one of the rare times that even I, who I'm conscious at least of this, get to sit down with another human being and have a conversation that's uninterrupted by checking my emails or whatever. Like, that's one of the reasons I love doing the show, is we get to sit down with interesting people and actually it's just that.
There's nothing else
There's
there.
nothing else there. And that is, I think, such an increasingly rare thing for people to experience.
So the narcissistic personality disorder seeks narcissistic supply. That's all they're interested in. Give me more applause, give me more adulation. They can't deal with horizontal love. It's unacceptable. They hate that. It makes them creeped out. They like it vertical. You look up to me and tell me I'm godlike, wonderful. That's a problem in and of itself, as I'm sure anybody can realize. But where I typically am talking to people about it is they've gotten into a relationship with somebody like that and they didn't realize. So they keep trying to offer horizontal love. I love you as another human being. And they go, oh yeah, that's nice. But inside they're thinking, fuck you, I'm not a human being. I'm a god. I'm an angel. I'm something better than everybody else. So there's a fight then. You're trying to love them like this, and they're constantly trying to do this. And they will not accept anything else. Narcissistic personality disorder is rigid. It's rigid. So even you can try threatening them, you can try bribing them, you can try whatever you want, but they learned this in an infantile state. And so the prognosis for recovery isn't great.
I know what you mean about that. Sorry, just this quick comment is because I guess it's that thing of like the first step to solving the problem is admitting you have one. And if you admit you have a problem, it's quite right to be at least whatever by that, right?
Discontented.
Yeah. That makes sense.
No, and I was going to talk to you about not only do we feel despair, not only are we forced to put on this fake smile and project this happy life, but because of social media, Instagram, that's what everybody does. So to use a terminology of the time, we're all being gaslit.
Yeah.
Into thinking that everybody's having this great life apart from us.
And that, Zizek would say, that is ideology at its purest. So we're being force-fed the ideology, and then we force-feed it back to each other. Because we're not just being told what to desire, our ability to desire is being coerced. So it's not just what to desire, it's the way in which you desire it needs to be ideologically pure as well. So yeah, we're all playing the same stupid game for who?